Welcome back to Dorrien Gardens for the final match of this bumper weekend of 11 Cup finals as old rivals Floreat, Athena and Perth Soccer Club face off in the men's NPLWA Grand Final. Quick turnaround from the women's game, which ended in thrilling fashion as the Redbacks prevailed in a penalty shootout. It's great to have your company with us tonight, wherever you may be watching around the country or indeed the world, for this box office game between these two old foes. My name's Tommy Dolman. It's a pleasure to be here on the final night of the WA local football season for Cup Final 11 of 11 this weekend, and this is bound to be an exciting game. So senior level, we've had wins for Carramar Shamrock Rovers in State League Div 2, State League Div 1. We saw Kingsway complete a league and cup double for the first time since 1980. Earlier today, the Redbacks won on a shootout, as we said before, and now it's the term of the first team men in a fixture where bragging rights are always meaningful. Floreat have arguably been the best league's most consistent side this season, but fell at the final hurdle on the final weekend of the second phase, where they dropped points to Coburn and allowed ECU to steal in for the league honours last Saturday. Revenge was had against the Cockerels in Tuesday's semi-final, and they come to Dorrien Gardens looking to steal the crown of their opponents, who are the current holders of the trophy. This venue holds no fear factor for Athena either, as they won the league. They won here in July's league fixture and also lifted the State Cup at this venue in 2019. For Perth, it's a trophy which they've had the monopoly on in recent seasons. Ramon Fowler's own side aim to make it a three-peat in terms of post-season honours. They come into this game having eliminated league champions ECU Joondalup on Wednesday night following an extra time thriller. An added incentive for the Azzurri is that none of the previous two were at this venue, so with hosting rights this year, there's an opportunity to end 2020 on a high in front of their fans. In control of tonight's proceedings, here on the pitch, as the linesmen go and check the goal nets and the teams pose for a pre-game photo, is referee David Bruce in the middle with the football in his hand. Assisting him is Josh Manella and Simon Hicks on the sideline. And down beneath us, the fourth official, Matthew Southern, who held the whistle in the 2019 Top 4 Cup Final, where Perth beat Inglewood with a last-minute goal. So what a crowd we've got in here at Dorrien Gardens, the final game of the 2020 NPL season is up for grabs at Dorrien Gardens, not just in terms of the weekend, but for the year overall. It's been a different and somewhat unusual season, with a shutdown due to COVID back in March, the truncated campaign, the unique league format, but equally wonderful in terms of the entertainment it has delivered us. We've been so lucky to have football on the pitches here in season 2020, and what a way this will be to wrap up another compelling season of Western Australian football. A heavyweight bout between two local rivals in the West and a real clash of the Titans. It's grand final night here at the home of Perth Soccer Club. Cup final 11 of 11, and Floreat get us underway, playing in their changed all-white strip tonight, white shirts and white shorts, playing against the Azzurri, who are in their home kit, the sky blue shirts and the white shorts and the sky blue socks. Kicking to the left of your stream. Jackson Morgan scoops the ball up in the air. The header was on for Floreat, as the game tries to find its early pattern here. Here's Palmer. It's the feet of Ambrosio. A battle for the ball on halfway. Expect to see plenty of that tonight. Hot competition in this battle between the two City of Vincent rivals. Here in Perth's inner suburbs, slightly north of the CBD. Beautiful city skyline behind the apartments to the right of your screen. And a perfect night for football here. A small breeze, but a clear night overall, and the pitch is in good condition as well. These teams have met just once in season 2020. That was all the way back in round 2, which seems a lifetime ago now. Floreat won the game on that afternoon by 2-0. It was actually their first win in the league at Dorrien Gardens in the NPLWA era. It's a ground where Perth have very much had the wood over their opponents. A couple of late winners, one in particular, Gustavo Cataccione's goal last year, a lob, which helped the Azzurri to a dramatic late win in the league. And then in the top 4 Cup preliminary final last season of 2019, it was Nicolo Sabatini's 118th minute winner, which sent Perth to the final. Athena will no doubt still be smarting over those results of recent seasons and will look to earn some silverware for the outstanding season that they have had. As Palmer looks up, retreats back to Dennis Gallen. Nice ball played out wide here. He's looking for Ambrosio. Now Liam Murray trying to turn away. Gallen back forward into the feet of Ambrosio. Ball forward into the box, looking for Rob Harding. On the edge of the area is Palmer, who strikes high and wide and over the goal. Looks as though Nicholas Ambrosio is occupying a false 9 position of sorts tonight. Interesting tactical decision by Athena coach Vas Vujacic. Liam Murray wide left, Ludovic Boy, 2015 gold medal winner. Plenty of experience at this level. Chopping slightly deeper. Here's Murray. Palmer. Lovely switch to play here for Rob Harding, who's wide right here. Chris Saldaris. Inside for Maranta. Now Palmer. Touch was a little casual. Nearly allowed Cataccione to steal in. Instead, he retreats all the way back to Dennis Gallen. Little sliding ball through. Found Murray. Foot was in from the Perth defence. And now Yagub Mustafa will look to get the Azzurri on the break here. Silla runs into trouble. Morgan was fouled, pull of the jersey by Santaluce. Very consistent back four for Floreat Athena. Held together by George Fester and Dennis Gallen, who formed a really good partnership back there. In particular, George Fester, who's really matured into a good defender this season, and Gallen has been a consistent performer at this level for a number of years. As McDonald tries to retreat and get the better of Boy, but Boy was persistent in his approach and wriggles away from Bojan Radanovic, who ended up fouling the Floreat number 14. Chance for Athena to whip some quality into the penalty area. It'll be Palmer who will float a ball in towards that back post. It was Saldaris who was lurking. Boy helps it on. Ambrosio's in behind and poking past Montgomery, but wide of the mark. And the first half chance of sorts there. Not sure how much of an impact Montgomery did have on that contest, but perhaps Ambrosio caught in two minds as to whether to hit the target or whether to try and take around the goalkeeper. In the end, it was a good intervention from the Perth stopper. Formerly of Subiaco and of Sterling Lions. Just 2 clean sheets this season, which is very uncharacteristic considering what we've been used to from Perth and their defence in recent seasons. David Bruce will just bring play back while Gustavo Cataccione gets back to his feet. Should be able to see in your shot there, plenty of fans behind the banner over on that far side. Fans behind the goal to the left of your picture as well. And a jam-packed grandstand and near side of the pitch as well. There's a couple of fans get a touch from that deflected clearance into the crowd. The ball will end with a throw for Jordan DeLeo. Uses Alex Jovic, now Jackson Morgan, Alex Silla. Last year's hero, of course, against Inglewood United in a top 4 cup final. That one was at the home of Inglewood United after Inglewood won the semi-final here by 3-1 last year. In fact, in their previous top 4 cup triumphs, Perth did not win the semi-final, which was a change that they made when they defeated ECU during the week by 3-1. Goals scored by Gustavo Cataccioni, Michael Domfe and Jackson Morgan, the latter two in extra time. And they'll be hoping that the fortunes are not reversed despite that opposite trend in the semi-final pattern, as the switch of the play was looking for Harding, but wasn't quite wrapped around well enough by Ambrosio. Ramon Falzone just getting up off his touchline, directing his players to stay wide, I think, wanting to open up the pitch as much as possible. Based on his gesturing anyway. Coach of the year in 2018 and 2019. With the Azzurri, Ramon Falzone continues to do a great job, in particular with bringing through the younger players up to senior level. A much younger Perth team than in previous seasons. They've integrated a lot of the youngsters like Sasson Yegic and Nick McDonald, who've come from Perth Glory's youth setup. And here's another one who was once of the Glory setup in Yagub Mustafa. Wide right, one-on-one with Dennis Gallen. Skips past him pretty easily. Ball inside for Alex Jovic, who's trying to turn on a sixpence in the area. Looks forward, waits for the run of Silla to join in support. Now Morgan. Jovic again. Jovic retreats all the way back to Kieran Colwell. Reliable central defender. He was part of Ramon Falzone's team at Balcatta when he was there before his time here at Dorrien Gardens. "11 cup finals over the weekend here at this venue. What a brilliant weekend of football it has been. Still the matter of this NPLWA Finals trophy to take care of, though. As Perth are on the attack, Cataccioni lays off for Jovic. Tried to introduce Sasson Yegic into the play out wide, and the ball will skip away from him and cross the line into touch. So quite contrasting paths for both of these teams who have gotten to this point. Mid-October, obviously a later finish than usual due to COVID. Season normally ends around about the 20th of September. Maranta goes in hard on the challenge. Murray has got Boy running alongside him to the left. Boy will skip onto the path of the ball, return it to Murray, who jinks his way into the area, faced up by Morgan. And now Santa Lucia will cross first time into the area, pushing his opponent there, though, was Ambrosio, and that'll be a Perth free kick. Now Floreat with the dominant side of the first phase of the competition, just the 2 defeats in the first 11 games. And started the second phase with a defeat to Sorrento as well, apologies, and needed 2 late goals from Robert Harding in back-to-back games to reignite their season. Needed a win on the final day against Coburn, but couldn't deliver it. And got revenge against the Cockerels in Wednesday night's semi-final by 2-0 at Dalmatinak Park. as Negic goes through the legs. Jovic works it wide to McDonald. Last touch was off Harding, who came in to put the foot in. Perth on the attack here. Radanovic. Colwell. Back to his central defensive teammate. Here's Alex Jovic again. Spots a little bit of space and opts to run into it. Now he passes sideways for Morgan, who's converged upon by two Floreat players. Ball will break back to Jovic. Switch the players on here for Negic. It's a good ball from Alex Jovic. Sasa Negic one-on-one with Saldaris. Ball to the back post, looking for Cataccioni. Headed clear by Gallen. And then Mustafa is tenacious in his attempts to win back the ball. And he introduces Silla forward, but sliding in is Santa Lucia. Still a battle for possession out on that far side. Silla dug out the cross. Ball headed only as far as Morgan. Gallen puts a foot in, and Floreat will try and just press out from the back. Silla and Santa Lucia at it over again on that far side, but the result will be a goal kick to Athena, who get it moving quickly. Perth players just beneath us, going for their warm-ups. It's a chilly night here in Western Australia, so players certainly do need to keep warm. This game, of course, kicking off a little later due to the extra time and penalty shootouts and then presentations in the women's game just before us. As Palmer comes inside, low skidding ball into the area. Ambrosio was lurking. Nick McDonald was under pressure and had to hook clear, and now Cataccioni will try and use his body to get involved against Saldaris, and the Brazilian was a little late with the ankle tap into the Floreat fullback. And Cataccioni disagreed somewhat with David Bruce's decision. Referee just goes over and, in paraphrasing terms, says, "Calm down, Goss." Player who scored the winning goal in the 2016 Top 4 Cup final for Perth back in 2016 against Inglewood. Gustavo Cataccioni. Now Nick McDonald, sliding ball through, is a good one from Mustafa, who has the pace. Cleared by Floreat, and then Festa had to slide in there and intervene, and did just that. Perth can stay on the front foot though. Quickly taken by Negic for DeLeo, and now Jovic back for DeLeo again. Both teams looking pretty good on the ball inside the first 15 minutes, but no clear-cut chances as of yet. Throw-in was an inventive one for Jovic, whose cross is hoisted high into the area. Negic was at the back post, and then the chase is on between Harding and DeLeo. Two pacey players on this near touchline. That'll be an intriguing battle to watch out for throughout the night. As Harding looks up, misses his pass, comes away with possession eventually as Jovic went in with a challenge. Advantage was played by David Bruce. And then a bit of a scramble in midfield between both sets of players. Eventually Morgan emerges with the ball. Mustafa wider. Now Silla. Radanovic, through ball's a good one here for Cataccioni. Festa's got to get his body in the way and does a good job to hook clear. Well weighted pass there by Bojan Radinovic. Well dealt with by Floreat. Not over just yet though. Morgan. And handballs paid against Andrew Palmer there, I think. And that'll provide Perth with a set piece opportunity here. In a pretty good position now. Sasanegic is the player spotting the ball. Wall is marched back, 4 in it. A few players making a nuisance of themselves in the area. David Blues blows his whistle. Sasanegic steps up, curls over the wall, and it's straight down the throat of Saldaris. Goalkeeper's positioning was on point there to make an easy catch. And now Saldaris of the Chris variety will make some headway down the right-hand side, and decision is brought back by David Bruce. Foul committed by Perth there. I think Vasvujicic off the bench there was questioning whether that was possibly a yellow card or not, as it seems to have halted a Floreat counter-attack. Never mind, they have a free kick as Fester launches forward. Montgomery's off his line to claim, and Harding was adjudged to have fouled the stopper. And gets play underway again. Colwell's ball forward. Jovic will run out of room, and it'll be Floreat ball. Perth had an uncharacteristically slow start to the season. They went winless in their first 4 games. Ended up finishing 10th after the first phase of the competition, then went into the bottom 6 of the split. And as a result of finishing at the top of the bottom half of their pool, they qualified in the wildcard spot to enter as the 4th ranked team into the NPLWA finals. It's obviously a competition that Perth are very accustomed to, given their track record in it, as we discussed a moment or two ago in recent years. 15 top 4 cups in totals over the years. They come into this game on a run of just 1 defeat in 6, so predictably they do peak for this time of year, Perth. And they do get to host this year, having lifted the top 4 cup away from home at Bayswater in 2018 and at Inglewood in 2019, as Radonovic's ball lands at the feet of Negic. McDonald. Colwell switches wide. Mustafa closed down quickly by Santa Lucia. Mustafa, really good dribbler of the football, and easy to see why he was so highly regarded at the Glory. Gallen, ever present in the Athena squad in 2020, lifts the ball long upfield for Liam Murray. Clearance from Silla went straight to the feet of Jovic, although he turned the ball over pretty easily. In the end it worked out okay, as Jovic gets back on the ball and then goes back to Silla once more. Silla looks up the line, launches forward, and Mustafa's quick, but not that quick. And in any case, it sailed out of play. So overall in the NPLWA era, since the beginning of 2014, there's been 14 meetings between these two teams. 9 wins for Perth, 4 wins for Floreat, and a draw in there as well. Perth with a 6-win, 1 draw and 1 loss record here at Dorrien Gardens. Floreat have scored on every occasion that they have been here though, so you'd fancy them to do some damage this season given the season they've had. And now landing in the area is Nicholas Ambrosio off the end of a slaloming Ludovic Boy run. Nicholas Ambrosio against his former club at Dorrien Gardens gives Athena the lead, and they have lift off under the lights. Perth 0, Floreat 1.
Floreat Athena goal scored by number 10, Nicholas Ambrosio.
So that streak of scoring at Dorrien Gardens continues for a Floreat. Very timely as Ludovic Boy marauded forward with the ball, slipped through for Nicholas Ambrosio, and a player who spent time at Perth previously, playing in that false 9 role tonight. Played for the Azzurri in the FFA Cup. Round of 32 game against Rockdale City back in 2015. And he pops up with his 5th goal of the NPLWA campaign. Floreat are looking to go forward again with confidence as Murray flicks out wide. Foul was paid against either Ambrosio or Boy there for late challenge on Radinovic, who wants to get it moving. Boy and Radinovic. Colwell's ball forward, Mustafa. Jovic. Silla. Colwell will hoof that one up the line. McDonald has Negic out wide here. Just good foot in there from Chris Saldaris, and now Ambrosio as that conduit has dropped deeper. Couldn't quite return it to Chris Saldaris first time, but Athena win a throw nevertheless. Saldaris' ball, Boy showing a little bit of interest. Radinovic has to clear up the line. Good centre forward play there by Cataccioni to hold the ball off and roll off his man. Now he's got Mustafa ahead of him, and possibly the better ball was Morgan running along his outside. Now Liam Murray will try to counter down the other end. Ball was slightly behind Andrew Maranta. Maranta, of course, was one of the heroes in the semi-final on Wednesday night. Scored the first goal, a wonderful crisp finish from the edge of the area. And second goal scored by Rob Harding, which gave Athena some redemption from the week before. And they'll be looking to complete a second story of redemption in season 2020, given their missing out of league honours. Whilst, of course, looking to avenge that preliminary final defeat from season 2019, as Athena have a free kick in a pretty good position here. Liam Murray, very much the dead ball specialist in the Floreat ranks. Quite a long way out, so it will have to be a good strike to beat Montgomery from out there. Murray's ball in, chipped towards the back post, and Ludovic Boy was unable to get on the end of it. Not sure even Peter Crouch would have got on the end of that one. Montgomery restarts. Header back upfield. Helped on by Harding, and now Boy will try and slip in behind. Diving in, no foul according to David Bruce. Boy will cross, the diving header. Harding arriving, and it's scrambled away by DeLeo at the back, and David Bruce will halt play. There's been a head clash, I think. It was Nicholas Ambrosio, I think, who was stooping in the penalty area to try and nod in a second goal of the night. And he may have just been caught by an inadvertent boot of the Perth defender. Trainer will come on and just assess the goal scorer. So in case you've missed any of the other action here today, this is the 5th of 5 cup finals today. Earlier this afternoon, Bayswater City won the under-18s and the under-20s NPLWA men's finals. In the women's competition, Fremantle City triumphed over the Northern Redbacks in the under-23s before the Redbacks got revenge at first team level with a penalty shootout win over City, with Morgan Aquino starring throughout the 120 minutes and the shootout as well. Ambrosio back to his feet now. Remains off the ground for the time being, though. Looks as though he's going to be fine to continue, but Floreat will have to wait until their 11th player is restored, and now he is out of your picture. Pass across goal, a dicey one from Gallen. Jason Saudaris was aware of the situation. Radinovic's header up in the air, Morgan's header up in the air. Boy finds Liam Murray. Floreat playing some really nice football over on that far side of the pitch, but Sella was stepping in. Hoisted forward by Radinovic. Gallen puts into touch. Perth looking to mount a response here. Missouri have scored in every game in season 2020 bar 2. Both of them were back in the first phase quite early on in the season, in round 2 and round 3 here at Dorrien Gardens. One of them was against Athena, of course, from that 2-0 win. As Colwell strikes across his back forward to Radinovic, and then the spot up of Mustafa was attempted. Mustafa and Negic swapping sides in recent moments, and then a decision goes the way of Athena, just behind their defensive halfway line. Fester's ball forward. Murray unable to bring down. Jovic driving forward. Negic is with him in support. Still going though, Alex Jovic digs out across. Fester brings down on the chest. Negic continues to run forward and put the pressure on. And we'll have a light blue throw. Cataccioni, wide right. Only Mustafa and Morgan in the box at the moment. Still trying to make half a yard as the Brazilian finds Negic. Negic takes the safety first option. Perth recycle the possession and build again. Cataccioni rolls his man. Cataccioni striking wide of the mark. Brazilians first. Pop at the target is wide of Saladaris' right-hand goalpost. As close as Perth have come in this first half. Fester's ball. Headed by Radinovic. Saldaris has got Mustafa for company. Ball stayed in play here on this near touchline. Saldaris looks inboard, finds Harding stepping out. Radinovic with good defending, and now the releasing long ball is looking for Cataccioni. One-on-one with Gallon. Cataccioni fouled Dennis Gallon though. He did look to have jumped into the central defender, despite the protestations of the Perth striker. Ball did hold up on the turf slightly. It did look as though Cataccioni jumped into the man though. Murray tries to jink his way through the attentions of Morgan. Negic over on that far side in front of a packed bunch of supporters. Great to see so many faces here tonight supporting local football in the West. It's been a bumper weekend overall. A real showpiece event to finish what's been an exciting season. As Boy puts into touch. David Bruce points to his left. Just under 10 minutes to play then till half-time of this men's NPLWA finals. Scoreline sits at Floreat Athena 1, Perth Soccer Club 0. Nicholas Ambrosio's goal against his former team separates the sides thus far. Game of few clear-cut chances. As DeLeo and Harding battle for possession. Mustafa gets back and helps out. And then McDonald's ball was released for Cataccioni. The flag was up in any case, but the ball was overhit anyhow. Harding's flick on, hooked away by Radinovic. Jovic hooks over his shoulder. Cataccioni will be outpaced by Santa Lucia, but he's far from out of the equation as he forces the Floreat fullback to clear into touch. And here's Alex Jovic winning the throw-in. Just the 2 goals in season 2020 for Alex Jovic. Played a major part in that NPL finals campaign when Perth went over to the East last season and defeated Heidelberg United of the NPL Victoria by 3 goals to 2. Unfortunately, no opportunity to feature that competition this season due to obvious reasons surrounding the coronavirus, but all being well, we will have the FFA Cup and the NPL finals back up and running in season 21. Pending a improvement on the health front, of course, as Cadaccioni heals behind him. Last touch was off Negic over there on that far side. Game has just fallen into a little bit of a holding pattern at the moment, a real battle between the two midfields. Murray turning into trouble. Now Nick McDonald. Pass was short for Mustafa though, and that's a pretty cheap turnover as far as Perth are concerned. And now Florida off to the races here. Boy is checking back inside. Mustafa was back in retreating defence, and that was an important intervention as it turned out, because Floreat had numbers forward, and then DeLeo was the meat and the sandwich between Harding and Maranta. Harding there a little cheeky as he prevented DeLeo from taking the free kick quickly. Or the throw-in, apologies. Challenge from Jackson Morgan was late on Andrew Maranta, and Jackson Morgan goes into the book. Ball had long gone off the boot of Maranta by the time Morgan has put his boot in, and Floreat youngster is down behind play and looks in a little bit of distress. Maranta back on his feet now. As you can see, the crowd on your shot that is in at Dorrien Gardens tonight. Many familiar faces from the local football community out in force in WA, not just tonight but over the course of the weekend. Fester will get us restarted once he's marched a few steps back with the ball. As we said before, he's really matured into a good defender for Athena this season. Seeing more minutes in season 2020. Long ball over the top will interest Harding. Fester put his hands to his head. A little bit of anguish. So close yet so far. Forward from Montgomery. Negic will get to the ball first, turn inside and dart towards the centre of the pitch. Little Reverse pass was looking for the runner Cataccioni. Jackson Morgan tries to step in. On a yellow card, of course, remember, so he needs to watch his step for the remainder of the game as Ambrosio tries to get the better of Colwell, who's forced to check back, and then Alex Siller, I think it was. No, it was Alex Jovic who was a little over-enthusiastic in the tackle. Ball into the middle, Montgomery off his line, really good goalkeeping. Made the move early and took the ball cleanly. Both of these teams founding members of the semi-professional league here in WA. Perth Soccer Club with their Italian heritage, Floreat Athena with their Greek. Two very proud clubs who've won plenty of trophies and have had a long-standing rivalry over the years. Bragging rights always important in this one. Perth have had the better of the top four cups in recent years, but Floreat have held their own in the cup games. They've won 2 state cups in the past 5 years, and they've also been very prevalent in the night series games as well. They did lose 5-0 to the Azuri in March's night series final, but that was in part due to the wedding of Dean Evans, for which many of the players who were on the pitch tonight did miss the game. Evans himself on the bench this evening. Having missed the semi-final win over Coburn. Saldaris forward, flicked on by Palmer, I think it was. Forward of the ball, and then Boy takes the ball cleanly from Cataccioni. The release from Gallen's a good one for Murray, who's off and away down this left-hand side. Liam Murray coming inside, laying to Boy on the edge of the area. Pass slightly behind him. Still out there for Santa Lucia, who was forward from fullback, and then Perth can win possession back, but only for the short term as Santa Lucia gets forward again. Murray strikes a goal and finds the back of the net. An absolute blockbuster on top 4 cup final night from Liam Murray. And Athena are off and flying at Dorian Gardens. Floreat 2, Perth 0.
There will be a minimum of 2 minutes at a time at the end of the first half. 2 minutes.
Goodness me. Pick that one out. An absolute showstopper in the showpiece game of the NPLWA season. And it puts Athena 2 to the good here and in a really good position. A goal late in the first half from Liam Murray to make it 2-0 after Nick Ambrosio opened the scoring earlier in the half. 2 minutes of stoppage time in this first half, by the way, which were held up while the goal celebrations were happening. Can Perth pull one back before the break? Mustafa's trying to do just that. crosses into Harding, wins the corner. One last opportunity for the Azzurri in the first half, perhaps. As time ticks down on this opening half, it'll be Alex Jovic who walks over. There'll be an in-swinger with the right foot. Corner taken short. Jovic's ball in, aimed to the penalty spot. And then the challenge from Santa Lucia was late as he went to close down the short corner, and Perth will get a secondary set piece in that corner of the ground. Second player into the book tonight after Perth's Jackson Morgan. David Brooks holds his whistle up. Two-man wall set. Still time for this Perth free kick to be taken. Jovic whips it in, close to goal, headed clear. Harding will complete the clearance, and David Bruce will blow for 45 minutes here at Dorrien Gardens. What a turn up for the books this is. Perth Soccer Club at their home ground, looking to make it a three-peat of NPLWA finals trophies, are trailing by 2-0 here against Floreat Athena, who are arguably the Leeds' most consistent team throughout this season, and they're 45 minutes away from earning some silverware to reward that hard-fought campaign. Goals in the first half from Nicholas Ambrosio, and then a stunning goal from Liam Murray in the shadows of half-time made it 2-0. Perth's best chance at the other end came from Gustavo Cataccioni's shot, which drifted just wide of the upright. But as it stands, Floreat are 2-0 to the good. And they're 45 minutes away from a top 4 cup final, which would be their first for quite some time. Half-time here at Dorrien Gardens. Perth 0, Floreat Athena 2.
I'm Blake Diggin, played down at Perth United, Amateur Division 1. I've been playing down here since 2016. February 2018, I was in a car crash on the way to work. We were driving to work, me and another guy, stopped at the traffic lights on Ankertel Road, and then there was like no one around, which was really weird. And then just heard like a massive screech, and by the time we looked and saw, it was like a big blue Commodore coming at crazy speed and just T-boned us. The guy was drink driving and excessive speeding. We moved our car about 20 metres from stationary. I don't remember getting hit to where we stopped moving, but then once we'd stopped moving, I just kind of got out of the car, said my mate was all right, and then I guess went into a little bit of shock and didn't really know what had just happened. Just that impact, I think if you didn't have your seatbelt, I would have been halfway across the road or squished in the car. Always wear your seatbelt. You don't really know where or when these things are going to happen, so even if you just nip into the shops, you know, you still get hit. And I was 2 minutes from work on a night shift, you know, you really don't know.
Athena.
Welcome back to the second half of this NPLWA finals match between Perth Soccer Club and Floreat Athena at Dorrien Gardens. These two old foes locking horns in a finals match for the second season in a row, following last year's preliminary final. And it's Athena who've lit up proceedings tonight with 2 goals in the first half, scored by Nicholas Ambrosio, and then an absolute screamer from Liam Murray in the shadows of the interval. And that's how things stand. 45 minutes left for Perth to try and find their way back into this one, and 45 minutes left for Floreat Athena to hold firm and claim their first Top 4 Cup win since 1997. As we get underway, no changes here from either team at the break. Perth kicking to the right of your screen, Floreat kicking to the left of your screen this time round. 2 players in the book in that first half. 1 from each team. Marco Santalucia for Floreat and Jackson Morgan for Perth. Perth looking to get on the ball early, keep a little bit of possession, settle into this period. They've got to do so quickly, chasing a 2-goal deficit. One thing I can tell you is that the Azzurri were back on the pitch rather promptly after they went in at half-time. Came out a good 3 or 4 minutes before Floreat did. Short and sharp message perhaps from Azzurri coach Ramon Falzone, whose team have their work cut out, but if any team are capable of launching a comeback, it's definitely Perth, given their track record in this competition in recent years. DeLeo looks up the line, was left by Negic. DeLeo continued his run, and then it was Fester who hoiked it up the line. Perth Soccer Club do have plenty of options on the bench. Should Ramon Falzone wish to turn to them, he's got the likes of Michael Domfey and Jaden Gorman. Paul Zimmerino as well, who's had a frustrating season with injury. Michael Domfey, of course, the team's leading scorer in 2020, so somewhat surprising that he's not introduced a little sooner than now. Murray gets the better of Colwell in the 50-50. Comes forward. We've seen him on this left-hand side produce something magic already. Liam Murray lays off to Andrew Palmer, who tamely shot straight at Montgomery in the end. And that will go down as a big chance for Floreat to add a third early in the second half. Barely 3 minutes played. Foul goes against Nicholas. Was taken short. Boyle was putting the pressure on. And now Montgomery will spread wide for Silla, who took his eye off the ball for a split second, and in the end it rolled under his foot and out for a throw. Jovic, Cataccioni, making the run ahead of him was Negic. It was well read there by Floreat's back four, and now Murray will look to get the counter-attack moving for the visitors as Ludovic Boy comes inside, looks for the run of Ambrosio. Radinovic will cut that one out. Had an outstanding game on Wednesday night against ECU Joondalup, to the former Dianella White Eagles man. Ball over the top from Santa Lucia is a good one. Ambrosio's in behind again. Saved by Montgomery. Arriving on the scene was Harding, and DeLeo scrambled away before the striker could arrive on the scene. A chance out of nothing there for Athena as Ambrosio managed to get a left-footed shot on target, and then a hard coming together between Silla and Santa Lucia, the two number twos, and it's the Perth fullback who's come off slightly worse, it seems. Santa Lucia's gone into the book for his helping, and that's a second yellow card for Marco Santa Lucia, having gone into the book for a foul late in the first half, and Athena go down to 10 men. So Marco Santa Lucia, another former Perth Soccer Club player, departs the pitch. Floreat are going to have to defend out these final 40 minutes with a player less. Meanwhile, Alex Sella is still down and receiving some treatment from Perth's physio here. Young man Alex Sella, who was the hero, of course, last year, let's not forget. Made the right back position his own last season. And that was his last goal as well. He's been a regular this time around too. Looks a little groggy as he gets back to his feet. Possibly a little winded. Sella wants to continue, but he's going to have to come off the pitch, I think, first before he's allowed to continue. In fact, Silla's allowed to stay on the field of play. Slightly winded, but good to go. So Floreat lead 2-0. But they're playing with a man less for the final 38.5 minutes now. Floreat with the likes of Dean Evans and Phil Arnold on the bench to be introduced into the game if necessary. This place might be called upon, given the way in which tired legs may affect the latter part of the game, particularly if Athena have to do a lot of defending in this second half, as McDonald should find plenty of space now at the base of midfield, you'd think, to pick the passes. Mustafa darts inside. McDonald, little switch of the play over the head of Harding. It'll reach DeLeo over on that far side. Jordan DeLeo twisting inside, outside, still going DeLeo. Cross takes a deflection. Cataccioni tries to bring down, brings it onto control with some superb footwork, and it's still alive here for Perth as Mustafa looks for Morgan on the edge of the area, and stepping in well was Ludovic Boy, and putting into touch, and now Floreat will turn to the bench. So Marco Santa Lucia has obviously departed the fullback position, and that's where Ben Steele will come on.
Number 4, Ben Steele.
It'll be Andrew Maranta who departs, the young midfielder, formerly of Stirling Lions. He'll be replaced by his former Stirling teammate in Steele. Maranta, who looks a little frustrated to be departing the pitch, but Reinforcements are needed in defence, given Santa Lucia's departure. So as expected, Steele is in the back four. Nick Ambrosio still playing as that false nine, but expect him to perhaps do a little more midfield work, more so than he was before, as Steele makes an instant impact by winning the ball and passing up the line. Had no one to aim for, but wins the free kick after a late challenge on him. Young Ben Steele, who's been a regular in the matchday squad in 2020, but mostly cameos. I did actually start in that game against Squellup, in the second last game of Phase 2. Game which Floreat won 3-0 that afternoon, and they looked on course at that point to go on, and many expected them to seal the win required against Coburn. Cockerels had other plans though. As Ambrosio battles for the ball, Harding pulls back for Boy, who goes to ground. No foul. Still battling for the ball over in that corner. Negic and Steele. Ball crosses play, and it'll be an Athena throw. Perth looks as though they're about to turn to the bench in due course. Possibly at next stoppage after Steele throws into play. Throw short for Murray. Negic went into the challenge and conceded the corner. Ramon Falzone will wait until after the set piece, I think, to make the change. Not sure who's coming off just yet. Perth are chasing a 2-goal deficit at the moment, though, remember. So Boy's corner, driven to the penalty spot. Steele's header. He was unmarked in the end, Ben Steele, up from full back, and just couldn't quite keep the header down. And now Perth will turn to the bench, and it'll be Sasa Negic who will make way. Jaden Gorman will come on in his place. So Sasa Negic, more of a left midfield player. Jaden Gorman, an out-and-out winger. So an attacking change, even though the players are like for like in terms of their swap. Jaden Gorman, who really broke onto the scene as a youngster at Perth Glory. 29 goals in 19 games for the under-18s. 4 goals in 7 senior appearances last season as well for them. Joined the Azuri in the middle of 2019. He's worked his way into the senior ranks. 4 goals in 13 this season. As the ball goes through and Montgomery has to come off his line with Ambrosio showing interest. Now McDonald, Mustafa, stepping in was Murray, who scored that absolute stunner in the first half, and now the ball over the top is looking to release. Harding, who gets there, keeps it in play. Rob Harding does brilliantly, squares in the middle for Ambrosio, who's at the double for Athena. Their path to redemption is nearly complete in season 2020. Perth 0, Floreat 3. Nicholas Ambrosio playing in the false 9 role tonight for 10-man Floreat Athena. And he's at the double on one of the biggest nights of the season, and Floreat are well and truly in control now. Leaders by 3 goals to 0. They still have to complete the final half an hour or so, though, with 10 men, remember. after Marco Santalucia's second yellow card at the start of this half. What can Perth do in response? Cross comes in from Gorman. It's deep at the back post. Mustafa's waiting. Pull back for Cataccioni, who loses out to firstly Gallen and then to Murray, who goes on a dance through midfield, stepping past 2, 3 challengers. Eventually Gorman picks his pocket, but Murray had won the foul in an earlier passage of play, and David Bruce pulls it back. Should add that Robert Harding's effort there to not give up on that long ball forward and keep it alive with a smart back heel, and then to get to the ball faster than Montgomery on the return was an outstanding piece of work, and the cross was put on a plate for Ambrosio to score his second of the night. And here come Floreat again, looking for a fourth. Ludovic Boyce through on goal and striking a fourth for the 10-man Floreat Athena. Incredible! Floreat have one hand on the trophy now, surely. They lead 4-0 at the home of their great rivals here at Dorrien Gardens. An hour played. Perth 0, Floreat 4. Not many would have seen this coming before the start of kickoff today, I'm sure. Floreat with a 2-goal lead at the break, getting reduced to 10 men and then scoring another 2 goals. And they well and surely have one hand on the trophy now. Perth need to strike quickly if they are to get back into this one. Mustafa, Silla. DeLeo tries to make something happen. Charging forward, Jackson Morgan sliding in. Andrew Palmer. And then Jaden Gorman wins the throw off Ben Steele. Perth need a hero, and promptly, as we pass the hour mark. Perth 0, Floreat 4, live on the Football West YouTube channel and Facebook pages tonight. Tommy Dolman with you on the final evening of the local football season and calling you through what is an incredible result so far. Athena have been top draw. Perth have a mountain to climb. They've got a free kick here though. Basically everybody forward but Colwell. All or nothing time even this early. Jovic will clip in. Headed at goal by DeLeo, and then jumping and catching and receiving the ball in the grateful gloves is Jason Saldaris. Player who's been with Floreat since 2016. And joint goalkeeper of the year last season alongside Alex Dunn for the Golden Glove. Superb performance in that semi-final game against Coburn during midweek. And now Ramon Falzone will bring Michael Domfe and Paul Zimmerino on for the final 27 minutes or so. In terms of attacking changes, this is it for Perth. Can they pull one back before those two are introduced? They can't just yet, because Floreat win the ball back, and then Chris Saldaris puts upfield. looking to release Harding, who's playing as the highest man up now. Ambrosio's dropping into midfield. Chris Saldaris has switched to the left with Ben Steele's introduction on the right-hand side of the fence. As Gorman skips inside, tries to beat Steele outside. DeLeo will step in, keep the ball alive for Perth. McDonald into the feet of Morgan, turned around the corner for Jovic. Jovic will try and poke through for DeLeo, still there for Cadiccioni, who strikes at goal, and it's straight to Saldaris. Cadiccioni didn't get the contact required. Floreat in the ultimate position of power now. Their fans around Dorrien Gardens tonight will be enjoying this one, I'm sure. So the double change unfolds for the Azzurri. It's a like-for-like replacement in terms of Alex Jovic off and Paul Zimmerino slotting into midfield, and then Jackson Morgan, the other central midfielder, will come off, and Michael Domfey will be introduced. Both players with a little over 25 minutes to try and turn around what would be the most improbable of comebacks now, you'd think. They do have an extra man though, remember. Boys' layoff was a little heavy on the boot. Domfey is on the last line of Floreat's defence. Cadiccioni has dropped a little bit deeper. Looks like they're just playing with the one sitter now in Nick McDonald. Here's Zimmerino with his first touch of the evening, switching wide. It's a really good pass from Zimmerino to release Mustafa, who invites Silla to get forward. Silla driving towards the byline, and Murray puts behind for a corner. Zimmerino's driven cross may yet break for Radinovic at the back post. Cadiccioni will be first to the subsequent clearance, and he'll actually leave that out for a Perth throw. Taken quickly for Domfey. Put together a piece of magic during the week with that outstanding volley, did Perth's leading scorer. They'll need some more of that tonight if they are to get back into this game. Silla will play out wide for Mustafa. Crossing in the middle. Domfey's there and didn't quite get the connection on the volley that he needed, and Saldaris was there and welcoming the ball into his hands. Hoisted high into the night sky from Jason Saldaris. Here's Paul Zimmerino. Gorman tries to get the better of Floreat player, didn't do so, and then went in the challenge a little bit late on Rob Harding. Collected a yellow card for his efforts. Harding was back on his feet quickly. This fixture averaging a touch under 4 goals over the years since the NPLWA era started in 2014. We have had 4 tonight as well. Let's keep that trend going, but they've all come from Athena. Steele's throw. Ludovic Boy, wide right, dancing his way between a couple of would-be defenders. McDonald, in the end, gets his body between ball and attacker, and Shields out of play, and Montgomery's keen to get things restarted quickly. Understandably so for Perth, who need 4 goals in a little over 21 minutes if they are to force extra time here at Dorrien Gardens. Mustafa jinking inside. Little ball through for Zimarino's a good one, and Saldaris had to be smart at the near post. Good movement from Paul Zimarino. Breaking forward from midfield. Well-weighted ball from Yagub Mustafa. And Saldaris was forced into action. Corner taken quickly. Attacking it was Mustafa. Ball might yet break at the back post for Radinovic, and Floreat are able to scramble away. Ball holds up in the air for Cataccioni, who's still driving through here. Silla gets the ball wide for Zimarino. Crossing. Charged down by Saldaris. And then the fullback finds Liam Murray up the line, who in turn looks upfield and finds Andrew Palmer. Tackle was all ball according to David Bruce. Now Radinovic forward again. Pass. Didn't find the feet of Domfey though. And then the attempted switch of the play is headed away. Floreat will need to try and keep the ball as often as they can to ensure the minutes do tick down promptly as far as they're concerned, and a free kick in their defensive half will assist with that. So 20 minutes to play here at Dorrien Gardens. Perth 0, Floreat 4. NPLWA men's finals night here. Final of 5th games today, the final of 11 over the weekend. Bayswater winning the 18s and the 20s. NPL men's titles earlier today. Fremantle City beat the Redbacks in the under-23s. Women's competition. And then the Redbacks won the senior women's NPL competition, the top 4 cup final, with a penalties win over Fremantle City. This game not as close as the one before. Simply stunning result here so far. Floreat are just about to introduce their skipper onto the pitch. Not a bad play to bring on at 4-0 up. It's Dean Evans who's on the sideline, and he'll come on in place of Andrew Palmer, sorry. So the 10 men with some fresh legs in the centre of the park.
Substitution. Coming to the pitch for the 20, Andrew Palmer.
Jason Saldaris runs the captain's armband over to Dean Evans.
70, Dean Evans.
Dean Evans, who scored that stunning goal in the preliminary final here last season. A real bolt from the blue that night for Athena. Levelled the scores 1-1 at the time. Unfortunately for them, it didn't work out that night, but it looks as though their chances will fare better tonight as they inch closer and closer to silverware in season 2020. Evans' first contribution of the evening will be to whip in a free kick. Wide on this left-hand side. 3 in the area. Disappointing delivery from Evans. Still Floreat ball though. Chris Saldaris. And then Evans tried to turn away from Zimarino, but the Perth number 8 was up to it. McDonald switch. Gorman's ball up the line, looking for the run of Cataccioni. Hooked away and a touch by Festa. He and Gallen have barely put a foot wrong tonight. At the back, just the one real shot of note. truly threatened Saldaris' goal was the snapshot in the first half from Gustavo Cataccioni. And then in the second half, Paul Zimmerino shot straight at him at the near post. Quite a chilly night here now in Perth's CBD. Or a little north of it, should I say. Perfect conditions for football, and it looks as though it's going to be a perfect night for Floreat tonight too. Plenty of supporters still at the ground. Make no mistake, the Athena fans won't be going anywhere. Now Floreat have a player down with injury, looks to just be a little bit of cramp. Around about the halfway line, and it seems as though Vasviasic will turn to a double change. Two of his players already have entered the fray, and another two will now. No doubt just to offer some fresh legs going into the final quarter of an hour here. It'll be Moses Kalau who's going to be introduced into the game. It's Rob Harding, who's gone off with cramp over on that far side, who he's replacing. So Kalau, a live wire, mainly played at Stirling Lions, short spell at Bayswater as well. One of many Perth Glory youth prospects on the pitch. And just the fourth senior appearance of the season for Kalau. Little cameo off the bench on Wednesday night in the semi-final with Coburn, and the other change will be Phil Arnold coming on in place of Ludovic Boy. All about fresh legs in terms of that change. I think the Harding one was more down to necessity. Harding still down and getting some attention from the trainer over on that far side of the pitch. As Evans hoists the long ball forward, Silla will watch that one go out. Phil Arnold was the hero at this venue last season when he scored from Ludovic Boy's cross to net what would eventually be the winning goal of the 2019 State Cup final. 2-1 win against Bayswater that afternoon. And we look set to welcome another triumph for Athena here this afternoon at this venue. It's been a good hunting ground for them in the past year or so, that's for sure, even if their record against Perth here over the years, early in the NPL era, wasn't up to much. Ludovic Boy makes his way back to the Floreat bench, to a generous round of applause from Floreat supporters just to my right. Kalau does well to win the ball, makes a good impact early on. Saudaris up the line, Kalau goes to ground. Perth ball. Radinovic, DeLeo, Gorman. Perth yet to really make an inroad into this Floreat defence that's defending with a man less, as DeLeo zips one in. Tries to pull back for Domfay. Here's DeLeo again, trying to make his way into the area. Jordan DeLeo strikes. And it fizzed wide of the upright. Drew a gasp from the crowd initially, but Saldaris was very confident in watching that one drift wide, and then the goalkeeper gets the hurry up from referee David Bruce, who perhaps thought that Saldaris was trying to take a few too many seconds off the clock. Just beneath us to the right, Rob Harding's made his way back around the pitch. Good to see the youngster back on his feet. He's definitely played his part this season. There's Rob Harding's goals against both ECU and Armidale in the second game and third game of Phase 2, which were in the last gasps of stoppage time, which earned crucial points to propel Athena to a position where they nearly did win the league title. And of course, a really good contribution with that crucial goal early in the second half, the one that made it 3-0. Never gave up on the ball on the right wing and kept it alive and squared for Ambrosio to bundle in his second of the evening. And since then, boys added to it. As Perth try to press and pull one back. Zimmerino links up with Silla. Back from McDonald in midfield. Radinovic. Wide left is Cataccioni. Ball into the area, helped on. Mustafa's lurking at the back post and did not catch the volley on the left foot, and Saldaris was able to watch wide of the post. As the season enters its final 10 minutes here at Dorian Gardens. Perth 0, Floreat 4 in the men's NPLWA final tonight. Floreat finishing first after the Phase 1 of the competition, finishing third overall after missing out on the league title in heartbreaking fashion. Neither one or two from the league campaign are in this game. And as it's turned out, it's been a big night for Floreat and their fans, who are in great spirits here. Game's been done for a long time, really, as Gallen slides in on Mustafa with a little too much aggression, and Mustafa goes back in for a little bit of retribution. Frustrations boiling over here. And this has just sparked a little bit of late drama here. Dennis Gallen has been kept away, and Yagub Mustafa is shown a straight red card by David Bruce for his reaction to events a moment earlier. And now Dennis Gallen will be called over by David Bruce. Gallen will receive a yellow card for his initial challenge, which was a pretty poor one on Mustafa, but the Perth winger didn't really react in a way which covered himself in glory, and both teams will finish this one with 10 men. Zimmerino's free kick. Dangerous one in. Evans will head away into the feet of Ambrosio. Ambrosio lost the ball to Zimmerino, who pulls back across goal. Saldaris and Festa nearly collided back there. And then going to ground there was Radinovic, who'd stayed forward from the set piece. Perth have a set piece about 20 to 25 yards out from goal. Paul Zimmerino told to wait for the whistle by David Bruce. Shortly march back a Floreat wall. Four in the wall at the moment. Floreat a man down, of course. In fact, both teams are down to 10 men. Apologies. Slipped my mind for a minute there. Gorman is wide open near side. Zimmerino will strike at goal and strike into the wall. And now Floreat will try and counter-attack as Gorman wins the ball from Kalau. Arnold will step in. Kalau. Ambrosio passes forward for Arnold, who tried to loft forward for Murray, who'd continue his run forward from midfield. Now Colwell defending in the back corner, clears into Arnold, and the Azuri can reset, but Perth are really playing out time now, unfortunately for them. Ball forward from Radinovic. Domfey tries to work his way in behind the defence. Coming together between Gorman and Dean Evans, I think it was. Over on that far side, it'll be Floreat ball. So goals in the first half from Nicholas Ambrosio and Liam Murray. Made it 2-0 at the break. Marco Santalucia sent off early in the second half for a second yellow card. And then Ambrosio and Boy added second half goals. Yagub Mustafa was then dismissed a moment or two ago for a straight red card. And that's the story of the game, really. Floreat looked a little bit tidier earlier on after what was a pretty cagey opening. And they struck really when it mattered most in the game. They made it 2-0 right before half-time, which must have been a hammer blow for Perth, who was still in the game despite a first half showing that wasn't the best we've seen from them this season. And then obviously to score early in the second half, barely a few minutes after Marco Santalucia put Floreat down to 10 men. Colwell. Pass cut out by Murray. Ambrosio. Murray again. And now Evans. Try to swing the ball out for Kalau, who switched flanks. Domfey. Ball breaks to Cataccioni, who continues to try hard, but Gallen has had his number all night, really. One of the outstanding players of this Floreat team in season 2020 for me, Dennis Gallen. He's been a rock at the back. Just relishes the challenge against the opposition's best striker. And has done a great job in containing firstly Cataccioni and now Domfey for the time since he's been onto the pitch. DeLeo battles hard for possession against two Floreat players and comes out on the wrong side of the decision from the referee. Floreat fans starting to gather behind the bench of Athena. Vujicic standing on the edge of his dugout, asking for one more effort over the final couple of minutes or so, but the jig is up already as far as Perth are concerned. Last year's league and top 4 cup winners. 10th after the first phase, qualified for the postseason after a much improved second phase. They've introduced a lot of younger players in season 2020, but we'll be back to the drawing board for Ramon Falzone and his coaching staff. As Perth win a foul and take the free kick quickly. Cataccioni. Gorman. Perth looking for a consolation goal as 3 minutes goes up on Matthew Southern's board for second half stoppage time. Zimmerino loses out to Ambrosio, sliding in Nick McDonald. Ambrosio comes out on top. And now Liam Murray will surge down this left-hand side, near side touchline. Ambrosio turns back for Gallen. And now Chris Saldaris. Floreat happy to kick the ball here now. As Silla, pinches off the toes of Liam Murray. Gorman. Little pass inside for Domfey, wide of the mark. Goal kick signalled by David Bruce, who has a quick look at his watch. And the cheers of Athena go up to the right of us. Fans in the grandstand clapping their hands. Saldaris gets us restarted. The Athena fans are going to party long and hard into the night here, I suspect. Even though it is a Sunday night here in the West. These sorts of moments don't come around often, so you've got to relish them when they do. They've been just about the most consistent team in season 2020 for me. They've probably not had the rewards their season has deserved, and they might try and add a fifth later as Kalau arrives on the scene, saved by Montgomery. Hooking away was Kieran Colwell. And now Dennis Gallen will maraud forward. Kalau striking and firing over the brick wall behind the goal. And that might just about be all she wrote, although Montgomery gets us restarted quickly. Cataccioni will break forward. Any goal now will just be scant consolation for the Azzurri, who have been well beaten tonight by their opponents. Cataccioni still in the corner. Clearing out of play is Dean Evans. Jordan DeLeo tries to retrieve the ball. Perth have had their years in the past, couple of seasons, but this time around it's Floreat's turn. Floreat's party is just about to get started. Athena's road to redemption is complete. Having narrowly missed out on the league title earlier this season, having suffered heartbreak in the preliminary final late in added time last season, it's a triumph for the ages here at the home of their biggest rivals, and one which will go down long in Floreat folklore. Perth Soccer Club 0, Floreat Athena 4. What a night of football this has been. A result that I'm sure not many people would have expected before the night started. These games are usually tight battles between these two sides, but it was Floreat who got off and running early. It was a cagey opening 15 or 20 minutes or so, but once Nicholas Ambrosio opened the scoring in the first half, they never looked back really. They controlled the majority of the game. Later in the half, Gustavo Cataccioni struck one right of the mark. And then Liam Murray struck an absolute corker in the minutes before the interval, which was perfect timing really as far as Athena were concerned, and gave them the break in the game they desired. Marco Santalucia's second yellow card early in the half threatened to perhaps give Perth the route back into the game, before goals from Ambrosio shortly after the red card for Santalucia, and then Ludovic Boy adding a fourth soon afterwards. Meant that Floreat went 4 to the good, and that concluded the scoring for the night. Perth ended the evening with 10 men as Yagub Mustafa was sent off for a retaliation to Dennis Gallen's sliding challenge. And that was the synopsis of the evening as Floreat players gather in a huddle. I'm sure we'll be hearing plenty of Athena chants here this evening. This is a treasured win for their fans. Their record at Dorrien Gardens hasn't been the best over the years, but they've won their last 2 here now. They're 2 from 2 at this venue this season. And this is a win that means oh so much, not just to the players, but to the coaching staff. To Vas Vujicic, who's done an outstanding job with this team this season. Just the 3 defeats in 14 games since replacing Ante Kovacevic in the dugout. Ante Kovacevic leaving the club earlier in the season to join Western United as GM of the A-League club. Kovacevic has since come back to WA due to the end of the A-League season, and is in there enjoying the celebrations among the Floreat Athena players this evening. A cheer goes up for Floreat Athena. We will cross down to Sean Fry with the trophy presentations.
Richard Marshall to assist in the presentations. Could the 4 match officials please come forward to collect their medallions? Referee David Bruce, first assistant Josh Manella, second assistant Simon Hicks, and fourth official Matthew Southern. And ladies and gentlemen, before we get on to the player medals, in the final, the player judged to be the best on ground in the men's NPL Top 4 Cup is awarded the Gary Marocchi Medal. I would now like to invite forward Mr. Gary Marocchi himself to please announce the medal.
Can I just say congratulations to Floreat Athena. Great effort. The man of the match is 2-goal hero Nick Ambrosio.
Nicholas Ambrosio collecting the Gary Marocchi medal for the player judged to be the best on field. 2-goal hero scoring at crucial times midway through the first half and early in the second half, and goes back to his teammates' applause.
We will now get the runners-up, Perth Soccer Club, to come forward and collect their medals. Starting with number 9, Gustavo Cataccioni. Number 16, Kieran Colwell. Number 3, Jordan DeLeo. Number 7, Alexander Jovic. Number 6, Nicholas McDonald. Number 1, Ryan Montgomery. Number 18, Jackson Morgan. Number 22, Yagub Mustafa. Number 15, Sasha Njegic. Number 19, Bojan Rodinovic. Number 2, Alex Silla. Number 10, Michael Domfey. Number 20, Jaden Gorman. Number 23, Adrian Sinagra. Number 4, Thomas Southgate. And number 8, Paul Zimmerino. Can we please have a warm round of applause for our runners-up tonight, Perth Soccer Club. I'd also like to invite the Perth coaching staff forward to collect their medallions. Roman Falzone and Co, please come forward. We will now invite the winning team, Floreat Athena, to come forward and collect their medals, starting with 2-goal hero, Nicholas Ambrosio, number 10. Number 14, Ludovic Boyd. Number 17, Dean Evans. Number 13, George Festa. Number 11, Dennis Gallen. Number 32, Robert Harding. Number 36, Andrew Maranta. Number 19, Liam Murray. Number 20, Andrew Palmer. Number 15, Christopher Saldaris. Number 1, Jason Saldaris. Number 2, Marco Santa Lucia. Number 18, Philip Arnold. Number 23, Jordan Barbas. Number 21, Moses Kalau. And number 4, Ben Steele. We'd also like to invite Vas Vujacic and the rest of the Floreat Athena coaching staff forward to collect their medals. We would now like to invite Mr. Vujacic and Dean Evans to the front to collect the Top 4 Cup trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2020 Top 4 Cup champions, Floreat Athena!
So Floreat Athena, Top 4 Cup champions in the NPLWA for season 2020. A fantastic way to cap off a bumper weekend of 11 grand finals here at Dorrien Gardens. Wins on Friday night for Kingsley Westside in the Division 2 reserves, Carramar Shamrock in the Division 2 State League first team, Division 2 18s, Wanneroo City on Saturday, Division 1 18s and reserves Subiaco, and then Division 1 State League first team Olympic Kingsway, NPL men's 18s and 20s today Bayswater, women's under 23s Fremantle City, women's first team Northern Redbacks, and then Floreat Athena in the men's first team NPLWA grand final to cap it all off. Floreat Athena head down a tunnel after the trophy presentations. They're about to get their party started, and this is pretty much where we will bid you farewell for tonight. On behalf of Football West, on behalf of Sportscast Australia, the cameraman, the filming crew, everybody else who's been associated with the broadcast this season in 2020 across the men's and the women's competitions. We've appreciated your company with us in season 2020. Thank you for being a part of it. We've been so lucky to have football this year. My name's Tommy Dolman, signing off from Dorrien Gardens, Floreat Athena, NPLWA champions. Good night and see you in season 2021.